Welcome to Grassroots Online, a new concept brought to you by the South Australian Amateur Football League and our good sponsors at West End. I'm your host, Tommy Javor, and I'd like to welcome co-host, the footy chick, Lisa Wright.
Thank you, Saafl. It's good to be back, and yes, absolutely, we are Grassroots, and we are now on the interweb. And at some stage, either this week or next week, we'll actually give you details on how you can upload it to your phone or watch it on your computer. So, going to be a slightly or very different format this year, but we're going to go through that with our CEO, Grant Goodall, in the next segment.
Yeah, I think one of the things we're going to touch on with Grant will probably be the accessibility of the great show that has been Grassroots over the years. Now being online, you can watch it when you want. That pressure of having to watch it on a Thursday at 8:30, it did conflict with a lot of other commitments for football players. So this will give you a chance, especially when we're at your club, to check out how your club looks to the rest of the South Australian Amateur Football League.
And the best thing is too, we're not stuck in the studio anymore, so it means that we're going to spend more time out at your club, meaning that your club's going to get a heap more exposure. So watch out for us at your club, very, very soon.
Of course, later on in this show, you'll get a chance to have a look at the Ingle Farm Football Club, won't you, Lisa?
We did. We did our first footy trip out there for the year, and just to see how all the new players out at Ingle Farm are doing.
Yep. So if you'd like us to get out to your club sooner rather than later, by all means contact us or the Amateur League, and we're more than happy to come out and accommodate those people that would really like to put their club out there on the, did you call it the interweb?
The interweb.
The interweb.
The interweb.
Right, let's talk about round one of the South Australian Amateur Football League, because it was an absolute cracker, a barn burner.
Absolutely, especially Div 1.
Div 1, you couldn't tip. The only game you could have tipped would have been probably the Henley-Jeps cross game, a replay of last year's first semi-final, but in this time it was Henley by 99 points.
Yeah, no, I think the tipsters, your average tipster probably would have picked 1 last week, and if you picked 5 in Div 1, you know nothing about amateur league football.
Absolutely, and the big guns. You talk about your Goodwood Saints perennially, the measuring stick, beaten by 10 goals by Foss Camden. Gazer beaten by 5 goals by the recently promoted Ross Trevor.
Kept goalless in the first half, I hear.
Somewhat of a phenomenon, really.
Is it too early to yell out premiership? Hang on.
I think it might be. I think with Goodwood playing Gazer this week, that will tell us a lot.
Absolutely. I think about both teams as well, not just the current premiers.
Absolutely. Now, Spock were too good for Salisbury North, again, another promoted team, and it was all teams in Division 1, 2 and 3 that were promoted actually had wins this week, a unique statistic.
As in 5 and 6 as well.
Right?
Actually, Plimpton was the only promoted club that didn't win in round 1.
Doggies let us down, never mind. Now, the team I want to talk about in Div 1 is the Broadview Football Club, because they have taken, Shock were one questionable umpiring decision away from premiership last year. They were there and thereabouts for sure. Broadview have handed them an absolute hiding, really, to the good of 62 points, and Broadview, they remind me a lot of Gazer circa 2011. Just good things coming from Broadview. Of course, big recruit Kane Ackland, the dish licker Tom Schlicker, who Coach Phil Harrison can't actually pronounce that. It's Schlicker, Phil, if you're watching, Schlicker. And a young boy from Port named Damien Tham doing good things on the weekend, as well as those previous recruits from Modbury, all starting to really gel. Watch out for the Broadview Tigers, and of course Andy Reid off a halfback flag. The Flash, he's an incredible footballer, and a lot of exciting things coming out of Broadview this year.
Well, it'll be good to see if they can. Obviously, they tasted premiership success a couple of years ago to get them back into Div 1, but trying to find their feet since. And it'd be good to see them do good things this year.
In Division 2, the thing that stood out to me is Tea Tree Gully have come down from Div 1, and perhaps they're only visiting Div 2 for a season, because they've absolutely smashed Old Iggy's by 14 goals, and the twin towers of Stephen Pitt and Eric Kells, recruited from Goodwood Saints, have kicked 12 between them.
Yes,
very hard to stop.
7 goals for Stephen Pitt, so at his age, still kicking a few sausage rolls there. Absolutely fantastic.
And if you read everything or if you see everything you read believe everything you read on the internet, you'd believe that Adelaide Junior and Port District are already going to play in the Div 2 Grand Final. Well, both these teams have been touched up by the promoted team. Flinders Park took care of Adelaide Junior, and it was Portland in probably the biggest upset I've heard of for a round 1 game, defeated Port Districts by 8 points.
Yeah, I dropped into Portland after the game on my way back from Ethelton, and you would think Steamboat had won a grand final. They said the way he celebrated when the final siren went. So no, good on Portland. They've proved their worth already by beating a premiership contender in Div 2. So we'll see how they go for the rest of the season.
And here's a interesting statistic for you, Lisa, that I put forward on the other great show that's sponsored by West End on WOW FM. The Div 2 Premiership has now, in the last 13 years, has been won by 13 different clubs.
Is that right?
That is correct. I thought you'd like that.
You're a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, I've got too much time on my hands. Okay, what else took your fancy there, Lise, this weekend?
Paul Smithfield. Smithfield, welcome back to the Amateur League after a hiatus for a year.
Great to have the Cats back.
Absolutely. However, they had a bit of a baptism of fire playing Mitchell Park, who are also some favourites in the Div 7 there, and got absolutely spanked to the tune of about 28 goals. The McDonald brothers had an absolute field day with, I think, Luke kicking 12 and Nate kicking 11. So
23 between them?
Yeah, absolutely. If we could actually just go through some, can we go through some other local
goals? We can do whatever you want.
That's fine.
First show.
No worries. We'll do a bit of a leading goal kickers, I think, every week, just to keep people up to date on who's going to reach that magic ton first. As we said, we've got the McDonalds there on 12 and 11 each, followed by Mick Gilling of Hope Valley, who in the reserves kicked another load of 10 goals. Good on you, Mick. And Jamie Atkinson of Salisbury West, who kicked 9, and then we had about 4 players on 8 and 4 players on 7.
Fair spread of goal kickers there. The other result, a good friend of ours, Sean Holland, recently taken over Central United, 0-1. So we wish Dutchie all the best in his future pursuit, moving into coaching. Recent father, I hear?
Yes, to an absolute gorgeous little baby mare. She's absolutely beautiful. And it was actually, I think, his 33rd birthday on Saturday as well. So not a good result for poor Dutchie there. No. Actually, just before we head off to our first break, if you've got nothing else, just to let everyone know, Hope Valley have got their Past Players Day this week. If anyone out there, if you want to plug your past players, well, they are plastered players by the end of the day, Past Players Day, simply drop us an email and we'll get some details of where you can send that to shortly as well. Just a couple of milestones. One last week, Andrew Graham, the man they call the Shrek, played his 150th game for the Kilburn Football Club in round 1.
Kilburn as well.
Yep. And one of the leaders, who I call a true leader of our club, Michael Gower, Mickey, plays his 100 games for Hope Valley this weekend.
You've got all the Hope Valley scoops, don't you?
Well, I'm just sort of slightly involved with them, just in case you didn't know out there. Well,
I think we'll be back after this break, if there's such a break, with after this, our very next grab will feature the Chief Executive Officer of the South Australian Amateur Football League, Grant Goodall, doing great things in the 101st year of the South Australian Amateur Football League.
Back soon. Welcome back to the second segment of Grassroots. Now, every year, it's, I guess, obligatory, or we could call it a tradition, but we always have a chat to the CEO of the league, and this year we've actually got a different face staring us in the computer or your phone, wherever you're watching it from, and that is our new CEO, Grant Goodall. Grant, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Lisa.
Wow, a heap has been happening over the summer. Tell us a bit about it.
It's been busy, lots of new faces here at the Amateur League, lots of new initiatives, a few new sponsors, a new program. We've chosen to take Grassroots online, and it's great to see you and Tommy taking to the microphone and the camera this year. So there'll be competitions. We thank West End for their support as well.
Absolutely.
Couldn't have done this without them, so thanks to all the team down at Lion Nathan and West End. But look, just to flag some of the projects, most people would be aware that the project that's been going for well over 3 years on the drawing board, the lights here at Thebarton Oval, it was one of the first projects I took on. Very pleased that we made the SANFL Eagles Port match within hours really of it going. They had a tremendous crowd, it was a record crowd, so the lights have already been a success. We're looking forward to a number of games here through the season at Amateur League level. Look, we've made a lot of improvements to our systems. We've got a new website, we've got Footy Web, our new football player management system that we're working on as well. We've just finished our first opening round, and look, I think for a new system and the amount of change we had here, I thought Sporting Pulse Footy Web held up very well. And you know, as with all new things, there's always a few things you can improve. We've got the new look Sunday Mail. I'd have to acknowledge the work that Jeff Hurd did there in terms of getting that together, and thank all the clubs for their support in terms of all chipping in really to give Amateur League such a professional look in the Sunday Mail every week. Yeah, look, we've got a new catering manager here at Thebarton Oval. Look, the list goes on, so there's a lot of things happening, and it's going to be an exciting season.
Absolutely. Now, Thebe, as we've all lovingly known it for X amount of years now, has a new name.
It does, Adelaide Airport Stadium. I think it reflects, the stadium certainly reflects that we're more than an oval. We have our function room. We are looking to develop the oval beyond the lights. We've got a long-term plan to perhaps try and get some funding to improve our function room, or perhaps build up. It's been on the drawing board for quite some years, so we'll chip away at that over the next few years. Other new sponsors, we've had the Greyhounds come on board, and many clubs have used them successfully for fundraising already. Army Reserves have signed up recently, so there'll be some Army Reserve promotion at Thebarton Oval over the season. West End, I've mentioned before, fantastic sponsor. Adelaide Airport, fantastic local sponsor. And here at the West Torrens Council too, we're supported by the Council as well as Community Football League and Saafl as well, good supporters. So we've got a good list of sponsors on board this year, and there's a couple in the pipeline.
Yeah, I just can't believe how much stuff has actually gone on over the past 6 months to get where we are now, and everything's just moving along really nicely now. I guess let's go into a bit what we're doing here at the moment. So as you know, we've decided to take Grassroots online. I guess tell us a few of the benefits about taking Grassroots online.
Well, the benefits are we have total control. There are restrictions around community TV and radio, so we have a little bit more flexibility, the presenters, so you and Tommy will have greater flexibility. But the clubs also get flexibility in the fact that they can really watch this at any stage. So if they want to download this and put it up on their screen, or put it on their iPad, or get it on their iPhone, watch it at home, watch it at the club, watch it any time. It really does bring the internet and the new wave of technology right into the heart of amateur league, and we certainly think that it gives people the flexibility right around the world. We've already had people from London and Hong Kong indicate that they're looking to look at the program online, and all those tens of thousands of people that are involved interstate and overseas will be able to get a really good look at what's going on. So it creates a lot more flexibility. It's a new world, and we certainly are excited with our new sponsor to get a lot of people watching the show.
Absolutely, and we can say West End as many times as we like, and we can drink beer because we're online and we can do what we like. But it must be West End because West End is our sponsor.
Yes, well said. So,
and we thank West End.
So we certainly encourage feedback, and we're very confident that this new format's going to be successful.
No, and look, so am I. And once again, I guess on behalf of Tommy and myself, we thank you for the opportunity. And as I said, the club are really going to benefit from this because we're now going to be able to get out to them more, which is fantastic. So, Grant, thanks very much for having a chat, and all the best for a smooth running of the year.
A pleasure, or as the politicians say, good to be with you.
Thanks, Grant. And once again, we will be back very shortly with the first footy trip for the year at Dingle Farm.
Welcome, Rooters, and welcome for the first time to Grassroots Online. That's Grassroots Online. Remember that name because you're going to see us every week on location. And this week, our very first location is the hallowed turf of the Ingle Farm Football Club. The very club where 30 years ago, nearly to the day, I made my debut. And I tell you what, it feels like 30 years ago to be honest, but it's great to be back. We're looking forward to a team that has been, it's almost fair to say, filled with controversy over the summer months. Many different transfers and a lot of talk on the internet about what's happening at the Ingle Farm Football Club, but I'm sure it's going to be an exciting year in Division 6 for the Farmers. We're looking forward to getting around the club, meeting some of the interesting people, and hopefully giving you a good introduction into the team that I think is going to make an impact on Div 6, the Ingle Farm Football Club. As the hunt for club legends continues, TJ's done it again. I've found one. This is the legendary, perhaps even infamous, Chris Pike. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you.
Now, obviously, a lot of people would know your son, Martin. You must be so proud of what Martin accomplished in the AFL.
I am certainly.
Several premierships and a lot of good stories. But we're here for the Ingle Farm Football Club. Tell us, what has it that brings you back to the Ingle Farm Football Club year after year. Someone just told me outside you've been involved for 62 years?
I wish.
36 years perhaps?
36, yes.
Yep. And have you must have done so many roles in those 36 years?
I have. Ranging from canteen, team manager. I haven't ever coached though. Not the football side of things anyway. Kitchen, you name it, I've probably done it.
And are you looking forward to a big year for the Bulldogs?
I am. I'm quite excited about this year. We've got a lot of new recruits and we're hopeful. But, you know, we need to just consolidate into the division we're in and next year go for the higher level and then keep rising.
And in 36 years, is there one highlight here that stands out in your mind?
No, not really. It's been a long time since premiership. That was a highlight. But my highlight in this place is basically the kids, the players. Always has been. My first involvement was with juniors, and I am still very heavily involved with the juniors. And the juniors is what keeps you going.
No worries. Now, I noticed the sign on the way in says Ingle Farm, the family club. It's obviously something close to your heart, because I don't know if we can pan across with the high-tech equipment we've got, but just over here, we have Chris's grandson. G'day, mate, how are you? What's your name?
Matt.
Well done. Yeah, he wasn't ready for that. Thanks very much for joining us, and we wish your club all the best this year.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Now, the Doggies have actually fought off relegation for the second year in a row by the hair on a you-know-what. And so what they've done this year is they've brought in the big guns. We've got new A-grade coach Wayne Knowles with us at the moment. Wayne, thanks for having a chat with us today.
No dramas.
Beautiful. Now, Wayne, give us a bit of a background on where you've come from, where you've been before and what you're doing here now.
Well, played all the junior footy down here at Ingle Farm, played 134 games, junior games. I left here and went and played big country footy, played at Snowtown, Two Worlds, South Broken Hill. Played in the Premiership in 2006 in South Broken Hill. Then come back to Adelaide, was coaching the C grade at Para Hills and then the B grade last year, and decided to come back this year, back to my home club.
Now, a bit of controversy here where you said to the club that this is where I want to finish my career, and that's what you've done, but you've ended up bringing just a couple of lads along with you.
Yeah, a couple of boys I brought along. There's probably, I think there's 11 in total.
Just a couple?
Yeah, well, but they're not away graders. Let's be honest about that. There's a few blokes that have just come along to have a bit of a kick in the B's and C's, which is good. Gives us numbers, which gives us depth, and that's what we're looking for here.
Absolutely. So, do we call you Ingle Hills, or do we call you Para Farm this year?
You can call us whatever you want to call us. Really, we're just happy to go along for the ride in Q6.
Would you like to call yourself Premiers?
No, definitely not. No, not at this stage. We're going to go through a rebuilding stage. A premiership would be nice, but yeah, I've signed on for 3 years with the whole intent to try and turn this joint around.
Absolutely, and looks like you're going the right way about it by bringing over all the lads, and it looks everything's really looking up here this year. So we wish you all the best for the year, and thanks again for having a chat.
Thanks, Les. No dramas.
And we are back for yet another year of stupid questions. Yes, that segment that everyone loves, where we stitch up a few blokes at each club by asking them absolutely ridiculous questions. I have my 3 guinea pigs here for the day. Gentlemen, could you please tell me your name, your grade, and what position you play?
Wayne Round, I'm in the B grade, I'm a centreman. Mark Smart, C grade, forward pocket.
And Sean Cummins, A grade, centreman.
Beautiful. Fellas, what do you love about the Ingle Farm Football Club?
The people mainly, good group of people down here. Always like a good drink, play hard footy, nice and fair. That's the way it should be.
The people rock, but the sunset's bloody beautiful, mate, let me tell you.
Yeah, just the mateship and the facilities at the Ingle Farm Football Club, second to none, so really good facilities.
Okay, let's stitch up a few blokes here. Who at the Ingle Farm Football Club looks at themselves in the mirror the most?
I'd probably go Smarty sitting next to me.
Lockie Sam to go, for sure.
Yeah, my bet's Lockie too, just quietly.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, and which player has the best moves on the dance floor?
I reckon Robbie Ewan goes alright. He's had a bit of a run.
Rowdy's got the roll, but definitely Bucky.
And who would Bucky be when he's at home?
Little Nathan Buck.
Beautiful.
And I'd like Stevie Gamble. He's sensational. Just helps
Would anyone care to give us an example of these fellas' moves for us? And finally, which of your fellow teammates tends to use too much product?
Shannon Knoll by miles, I reckon.
That's Betty. Gee, who uses too much product?
Not you, obviously.
Thank you very much, I do. Lots of hair, let me tell you. I would have to say the coach, just quietly. Have a look at the A-grade coach, he looks like a bit of a melon.
We have a spin around.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's approval.
And finally, your pick for who uses too much product.
Yeah, I reckon Nosey too. He doesn't mind the old gel.
Well, there you have it. We've stitched up a few blokes. Fellas, thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Best of the season.
Well, it's been a big night down at the Ingle Farm Kennel, home of the doggies, and I tell you what, it's great to just get one rubbed out nice and easily at the end of the night before I head upstairs for some sponsors product. And I look forward to many more football trips this year. Thanks, girls. Thanks for joining us on Grassroots. Speechless, as many a lady is. Welcome back to Grassroots Online, the final segment of the evening, or the afternoon as it is at the moment, Lise. It's been an interesting first up effort, I think.
Well, I hope it's been an interesting first up effort, and of course we're always looking on ways to improve Grassroots, so if you've watched it tonight and thought, good Lord, it could probably do with a bit of this and a bit of that, please send us an email, which, as I said, will pop up on the screen shortly, but will be grassroots@safl.asn.au or .com.au.
Maybe there's a backslash in there
Maybe
somewhere.
there is a backslash in there somewhere. That's right, we'll get it to. But by all means, send us some feedback. You know, at the end of the day, you're the clubs, this is your show, and we'll certainly do whatever it takes to keep you watching.
Enough with the comedy, it's www.safl.asn.au.
That's the website.
As seen, brilliantly illustrated with a nice shot of John Floriani there in the results section of the paper each Sunday. Beautiful work there, Jeff Hurd, I think was mentioned a bit earlier.
Absolutely. Now, and just before we go any further, we failed to mention, and how could we, look at this fantastic football supplied to us by our lovely sponsors at Sharon, which of course everyone will be using this year.
Now, Lisa, of course, with I think it's 67, 68 different clubs and 220 something teams, something along those lines. It'd be very difficult to preview every game or all the big games, so I've just picked out a couple of quick ones this week. Firstly, the Goodwood Gazer match. It's at Goodwood Oval. I mean, for years these guys have been butting heads, and who would have thunk that they'd both be 0-1?
Absolutely.
It's a huge game. Is there a premiership hangover? I think we'll find out by 5 o'clock on Saturday.
I think we will.
I think Gazer will bounce back. They haven't lost too many players, and those players they have lost have been adequately replaced. Is it an issue, the fact that their ground isn't ready? They won't be playing their homegrown games at home this year.
Oh, look, I think psychologically it's always going to have a bit of effect when you're not, when you don't have that home ground advantage. But as I said, the grass seems to be going down on the Clemsey Oval at the moment.
Slowly
so
but surely.
very, very slowly but surely. So hopefully they'll be back on it soon. But look, you know, if they are as mentally strong, and I'm sure Nathan Granger's got it all in their heads that it doesn't matter where they play. They're a good side, and they only lost one game last year for a reason. So I don't think that's going to make much of a difference to them.
We will see. The other one in Div 1 that I really like is it's hard to believe. They're playing for top spot, Henley and Foss Camden, both big winners in week 1. Well, they're not both going to win this week, so I think Henley are going to be one of the teams to watch for sure this week, and Henley for me should stamp their authority on Foss Camden this week. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, as I said, definite first, very, very good first up effort by Foss. Especially to get the wood over Goodwood like that, and especially by such a big margin. But you know, look, Henley are a force and are one of the premiership favourites in any given year, and I think they'll prove that again this Saturday.
I think Weed and the boys will be really looking to make the Skull Cave a bit of a fortress this year. Big oval, and they should be able to play it better than other teams.
Absolutely.
In Division 2, it's the Battle of the Reds that interests me. It's Flinders Park and PAC. Flinders Park with the first up win. PAC knocking off relegator from Div 1 Eastern Park. It's It's going to be a crucial game for two teams I think that will feature in finals action. It's a bit of a toss of a coin job for me, but I love what Sean Jackson's doing at Flinders Park, and perhaps this time when they come up to Div 2, they will be the real deal.
Yeah, they're just on the up and up, and I think previously when they have managed to, to make the trip up to Div 2, unfortunately it's been followed by a very quick sort of relegation back into Div 3. They've sort of never really settled, I guess, in Div 2, have they? So, once again, they stamped their authority. They said, right, we come up, we mean the real deal this time. Yep. So, I don't know. I actually probably like Flinders Park, to tell you the truth, over PAC.
Both got to Flinders Park. PAC, of course, were decimated by injuries last year, so if they can keep all their players in the park, you never know.
Excellent.
Now, the final game we're going to look at is the game that is right here at Adelaide Airport Stadium. It's CBC, who I had a first-hand look at. Darren Jarman and his boys last week going down to Payneham by 14 points, coming up against Athelston, who knocked off Smosh West Lakes in what I have to determine would be probably an upset. Smosh West Lakes were all the fancy the start of the year over the summer, and Athelston were able to kick 10 goals 23 against them and still get up. So it's going to be a huge game. CBC, a very young squad. You've got a young Jarman in there, Andrew Jarman's son.
Stephen?
Yep, Stephen Jarman. Alex Carey, who was formerly on the Greater Western Sydney list. And Christian Puccini still floating around, the old dog, the young fella. He's still only 4'7", but still wins plenty of ball down there. They'll be formidable, CBC, but I just think Athelston are going to visit Div 3 just for a year. I think Athelston are going to be the real smokies for this division.
Yeah, they don't tend to hang around Div 3 too long, and if they do, they tend to go up with Payneham and come down with Payneham. So, as I said, especially, those battles are going to be really good this year. But, I mean, look, I don't know how anyone could have ever written off a team being relegated, even over a team that has been in, Div 3 for a couple of years. So, I would have never have written Athelston off, and I certainly would not do that again this week.
No, it'll be interesting. Rocky Butterworth, see the impact he has on Athelston coming across formerly from PAC, was he at PAC? Yep. Against Darren Jarman. Darren Jarman actually really impressed me. He was cool, calm and collected on the weekend. Had a chance to chat with him, and I wish him and CBC all the best for the year. Good club, and hopefully they can really make a fist of it in Div 3 this year. Well, that's this week's games, Lise. I guess we've thanked everyone already. Of course, thanks to the CEO for taking his time out and going over a few of the concepts and the ideas and the exciting things that are happening.
Absolutely. Thanks again to the farmers for having us out there on Tuesday night for the footy trip. Next week on Anzac Day, we're doing a bit of an expose for the only game being played in the Amateur League on Anzac Day, which is Portland versus Flinders Park. And I believe that's actually down at Portland. So both Tommy and I will be out there, and we'll pretty much do the full show from Portland Oval.
Yes, it's Steamboat versus Jacko. It'll be interesting to see who can get up. We look forward to that one. Now, the rumour has it, Lisa, that the great people at West End are going to be throwing a lot of cartons your way. I don't trust them in my hands, but we're going to have a lot of cartons to give away throughout the year.
We certainly are. So competitions, it could be giveaways on footy trips. So I think I might just dispose of them at my own will, and we'll have some more details about how we're going to do that in future editions.
So, I mean, Grassroots Online is a show about the clubs. It's for you guys. We want to get out there. We want to put your club in the light, give you some TV time, and maybe make a few people famous out there if we can. Looking forward to a big year, Lisa.
Absolutely.
Any final thoughts?
My final thoughts are that we need to wind this up. We've gone on long enough already.
Well, if I could just leave you with one final thought. Thank you.
We'll see you next week, guys. Thanks a lot.
Hey mate, did you hear about that rumour about beer karma?
Beer karma?
You drink one of these and a Victorian Cops one.
Oh, really?
They did claim to invent the footy.
That's good.